Hi, I'm Doug McKinlay and you're watching Adorama TV. So, you want to be a professional photographer. But exactly how do I go from being just another guy with a camera to making a living at it? First, let me just stop you right there. This is a tough racket that often takes years to show any credible success. But as they say, if it was easy, everyone would do it. What I'm going to do here is lay out a few suggestions to get yourself noticed and a few pitfalls to try to avoid. I think job one is to really understand that professional photography is above all a business. No one cares, at least initially, about how you feel about your craft. No one wants to know the inner reasons why you became a photographer. All they want to know is, can you produce the product? Does it fit our style? Can you produce it on time? And can you produce it on budget? The esoterics of your photography is best left to your website and perhaps any shows you might do down the road. When dealing with picture editors or art directors, it's all business. So you have to be realistic and a bit thick-skinned. Part of being realistic is to understand that you are a snowflake in a blizzard. You're vying for space that perhaps 100 others are trying to get to. So how do I get noticed? How do I stand out? I think, especially for those new to editorial photography, it's important to have a clear idea of what you want to achieve with a specific pitch. And part of that is understanding the outlets. How do I get my ideas into print? These are the fundamental questions pro editorial photographers deal with on a daily basis. For instance, there's no point in pitching a story about poverty in your hometown to a wedding magazine. So tailor your pitches for each outlet or publication. And remember, one size doesn't fit all. Even though your images may be the same, every publication is different. So the approaches need to be different. By this I mean have an understanding of how a publication works. Editors find nothing more insulting than getting a round-robin email from photographers who haven't taken the time to study their publications. You need to do the due diligence. Getting through to picture editors or art directors by telephone is notoriously difficult, especially if cold calling. So an email approach might be better to begin with. Just make sure your email is to them personally, not to a general office email where it's likely to get deleted. Be patient. Don't start emailing every day if you don't hear back right away. Maybe wait a week or so, and then send a gentle reminder. Next up, you need to get your package together. It could be a finished series of images that tell the story or a work in progress. Although these pitches tend to be ones where the photographer is looking for financial support to finish the project. Nothing wrong with that, just make sure it's clear in your pitch. If you get a nibble from a prospective client, I think the best way to deliver your packages these days is electronically, at least initially. Just remember to make sure your images are sent as low-res JPEGs. No one has time to wait for 60 meg TIFF files to download. If they get hooked and ask you in, you might want to have your pictures on a tablet computer or finished prints in a portfolio case. Also, with any pitch, you'll need a covering letter clearly stating the description of your project in detail, why it would be of interest to that particular outlet, and what they'll get out of it, meaning increased readership for both print and online, or some kind of kudos that looks good for the publication. Once you've got your foot in the door, it's your job to keep the door open, and the best and only way, in my opinion, is to market yourself through both social media and face-to-face networking. This business is one of who you know. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to make face-to-face contacts. In some ways, it's more important to be good at self-promotion than it is to be great behind a camera. You might be the world's best photographer, but if no one knows who you are, you're unlikely to get much work. Now, how do I get to know who the picture editor or art directors are, and how do I get their contact details? Most magazines have a list on the inside cover of who does what on the mag. For newspapers, you can simply call the switchboard and ask or look it up online. But when beginning, start small. Local newspapers, small magazines, even online publications. Get involved in local photography organizations, group shows, etc. Anything to get your personal marketing game on track. Remember, it's unlikely you'll see a want ad for an editorial photographer. It's all done by word of mouth or who you know. And do yourself a favor, avoid going right to the top at first. It's unlikely you'll get heard, and that can have a real negative effect on your confidence. So start small and work your way up. And finally, remember, this takes time. No one becomes an overnight success as an editorial photographer. Thanks, and I'm Doug McKinlay for Adorama TV. You can see more from me at my website, www.dougmckinlay.com. And don't forget, you can also subscribe to Adorama TV for more great videos. And we really want to know what you think, so send us your comments or like and share this video. And please stop by the Adorama Learning Center for more great tips and tricks.